For years, EA have ignored and discarded a sleeping giant within their game, and since the arrival of a new microtransactional gambling school for children, what once was a crown jewel in the FIFA vault itself, has since been relegated to a destiny of mediocre upgrades and periodic facelifts. And the game mode I'm talking about is of course career mode, and I hate to say it, but I think EA are killing this mode slowly and painfully. So welcome back to Omen FC. Today we've got a bit of a heater for you. We've got 10 things that EA need to change in FC26, and primarily we're looking at career mode content here. Now I am very passionate about career mode. I'm sure you'll pick that up as this video goes along, and that's because I've played this game since FIFA 05, and every single year I will buy this game without question out of love for the series. But at the same time, it is so painful to see just how limiting and uninspired this game has become, with the highlight of it now being which of the 40 promo packs in the store currently offers a guaranteed icon. This game should be incredible before the bonus content, and sadly, it's just not that right now. Basically, in my opinion, we need a complete revamp.
Systemic, top to bottom. 100-point restoration, that's why I'm here.
And where should we start but with the foundations? And we need a major upgrade on the current 15 season cap to the game, and we also need the ability to play online with friends, whether that be just a co-op mode or even more excitingly a competitive version of the game mode. I personally think we should have a competitive PvP career mode by now, but even if we can sit here and excuse that, there is no reason in my mind where playing co-op on someone else's save should be impossible. It is a feature in Ultimate Team already. We have co-op seasons in the game. I mean, how hard can it be to adapt these features to work in career mode for us as well? And I mean, I know it would work. It takes me back to sort of the high school years for me. There'd be times when you'd have mates over, you'd do a new Road to Glory in Ultimate Team, or a career mode save, whatever it was better with your mates, and that should be an option for us now. And it's actually outrageous that it's not. And also, we've seen recently, Alfie and Ellis showed us just how good co-op career mode can be with their co-op channel, The Gaffers. These are absolute class, by the way. Definitely check them out if you haven't seen them before. But as I was saying, the fact that we still have to be in the same room in 2025, come on, man. That is just shocking. And on top of that, the 15 season cap is just so old-fashioned. We have been through at least 20 FIFAs, spread across 4 generations of console, and the limitations of the FIFA career has still not changed. That is crazy. How is it still the same amount of seasons as it was back in 2006? We are in desperate need of a change here. Give us more seasons, EA. Let us play for as long as we want. But moving on to point 2, and this one's really frustrating because all these other things are things that haven't been included ever. Maybe you can argue that it takes a bit of time and effort to get them into the game. This is something that was in one of the early iterations of FIFA. You used to be able to have sponsors, sponsorships. It didn't matter whether they're generic or real companies, but they affected your transfer budget based on how long you signed for, and all this interesting stuff that kept it fresh each season. And then they took it out, and for years we have been begging them to put it back in, and still they have not done it. Now for me personally, I would like to see something like this where you have 4 different sponsor types, maybe your shirt, your sleeve, your stadium, and whatever else, and then you have requirements for the top sponsors. So here we've got like Coca-Cola, McDonald's, Beats. It's not necessarily that there have to be actual companies, but if that is the case, people on Immersive would love that. But to get those companies, you have to hit a certain level of requirements to unlock the ability to take that deal. So when you're in a League 2 Road to Glory save, you won't be able to get these sponsorship deals. You'll have to work with these generic companies, and by the time you're in the Premier League, you can get these big boy contracts that really affect your team. And that also moves us on nicely to our third improvement, which is actually finances. Now, in all honesty, the current budget system kind of does work. You have your transfer pot, you have your wage allowance, and the benefit of it is really, really easy to learn and to use. But sadly, what it does at the same time is really limit the potential for what career mode could be. And finances could be the pivotal cog that changes the dynamic of the game forever and actually adds a level of challenge to a currently mundane life cycle of a save. See, I believe all finances should come from one big pot, and all expenses and income funnel in here and you decide how to spend it. And I also think that should come down to a day-to-day or week-to-week system where you see match travel, hotel costs, ticket sales, merchandise all come in, so you can continuously adapt and find the best solution to make yourself thrive financially. This would keep things fresh the whole way through the save. There would never be a point where things are just too easy and you just get bored and give up. Now, all of this sounds great, right? But it all comes down to this. It doesn't really work without this final addition, which is a club upgrades tab, a place where you can invest all of your money, improve your facilities, stadium size, staff quality, everything. You decide whether you want to put your money into the transfer budget or invest in your club and grow things a different way. It would make things so different and you could change it up from one save to the next. It would never be the same. Career modes right now have one goal, and that is just to grow the best squad. And apart from that, everything else is so self-service. If you have a system where you can actually have problems be thrown at you and you have to solve them, things would be kept fresh, saves would be going on for longer, and everything would be that little bit more rewarding. And we definitely need that in career mode right now. Sometimes it just gets too boring, too quick, and there needs to be a change. But moving swiftly on to the fourth change that I would absolutely love to see come in is giving us the ability to create custom leagues and then be able to add customized assets that can be uploaded via an online portal. Now, I personally am a creative person, so making graphics and making this feel even more immersive completely resonates with me. I feel that we need the option to create custom leagues initially. That would be where you can choose the name of the league, the number of teams, the cup tournaments, and anything else you can think of, whilst also being able to skin it in a way that feels best for you. For me, this should mean that the league is also accompanied with a design section where you can make the league feel immersive. The same way that you have it in major leagues right now, you have a game coming up in the Premier League, you have the purple background to match it. And we should be able to do that via an online portal where you upload all of your designs to a community database so anyone can have access to them and get these incredibly immersive designs that make their career mode feel that little bit better. This could mean that you add your own logo like this, where we've got the Omen League to the left, or if you're looking at the background and we wanted a background for the Omen League, would implement something like this to make it really immersive and really make it feel like this league exists that little bit more and is a bit more genuine. And now, EA would be fantastic for doing this on its own, but if they could then implement this even further, this would be that example of taking that little bit of an extra step, allow us to do it with existing leagues. So even leagues that have a background like the Bundesliga, let us update it to something like this if we really want to, or for leagues that don't have any sort of background or other assets to it, let us add one here for like the EFL League 2 that I'm doing. This would be just something extra that lets us really enjoy our saves a bit more. It's a bit more aesthetically pleasing, and it's just there for the people that really want to use it. It wouldn't be too taxing on the game, and it would just be a fun little addition. Now, on to improvement number 5, and this is an absolute must. We need a major overhaul to the manager system, where clubs will make tough decisions in an attempt to turn their fortunes around, and we'll also see changes that keep things fresh and stop the fatigue for the player that happens after years of playing the same teams and the same tactics. Now, to do this, I have 3 new additions that will really spice things up. Number 1 would be the introduction of a manager free agency and then sackings that come along with it. This would be made up by a collection of the world's best currently out of jobs that are in the market for a new position as head coach. This would also be constantly changing as new sackings happen throughout the career mode, and it would contribute to a new look game with ever-changing scenarios. The second addition would be a huge new look manager tactics and rating system, and that would be for every single coach in the game. So firstly, this would mean all tactics are now assigned to the specific managers rather than the club themselves, meaning when a change of personnel does happen after a sacking, teams would really adapt their style and formation, and that would all be based on what the new coach likes and wants to implement. On top of that, the managers would have a new rating system, including a new potential rating. So coaches that currently show promise in real life, like Kieran McKenna at Ipswich, wouldn't stick around at smaller leagues and clubs if they get relegated, and would be constantly looking for new jobs with better opportunities to play in the best leagues and coach the best players. And then the final addition for my manager overhaul is a bit rogue, but hear me out. I would love to see the addition of manager rivalries in FC26, as it would really spice things up on a game-to-game basis. Now, football is a really competitive sport, and sometimes that competition gets a bit too much and things tend to boil over. This could be ever-changing based on your performance and how you play against these teams, press conference responses and how other coaches perceive you, and other actions that you make throughout your career, meaning that everything you do could have a deeper meaning and reflect within your game. I would love to see that translate over to actual gameplay, both in cutscenes when you see small cuts to managers and see them maybe fighting, pushing, or a little bit of a ruckus, but also see the chaos translate to the gameplay as teams' aggression goes up, they go in for harsher tackles, they fight for everything. It would just make games feel even more bitty, make things a little bit more difficult that you have to deal with, and it could give you scenarios where big games do get crazy, just like the Battle of the Bridge back in 2016. These three things would offer so much added depth and meaning to the game in the long run, but also up the stakes for individual matches, offering such a new experience as you play through your career. Now, going on to our sixth point, and this section would actually work really well with the points we made about manager changes a few seconds ago. For me, there should be major changes to how the job market works for you as a manager as you continue to work through your save. See, right now you have no choice but to be in a club job. Now, you can choose to take an international job on top of your current duties if you would like, but to be honest, that just isn't very realistic. For me, the way it should be going forward is firstly that throughout the career, you can apply for any job you want. These clubs can decide to turn you down, but generally any club that is below your level will look to snap your hand off at the deal, so it gives you a chance to take some interesting moves within your career. On top of that, you should be able to become a free agent at any time and see yourself on the current free agent list compared to other managers. This will allow you to observe all leagues and results, apply for new jobs, or just wait for the right one if that's what you see fit. But at the same time, it means you can also look to detach from club football and apply solely for international management as a solo endeavour. See, apart from Gus Hiddink, I can't remember a manager who done both international and club management at the same time. So let's just give us a chance to have this realistic career mode. We can take both jobs if we want, but let us be out of a job if we want. Let us do whatever we need to make the career mode feel right for us. These are just simple changes, but could make the game so much better and enjoyable for everyone. Now, moving on to our seventh change, I think we should be able to play a completely new style of career mode where we're able to jump into the club in the role of a director of football or club owner in a brand new version of career mode. Now, FIFA has done a fantastic version of this where he takes control of a lot more of the work from behind the scenes, and the club and team are left to play their way through the season as they try and find their way towards success. Now, the key features for this would be the new dynamic where you actually work with the manager. They put forward their needs and desires based on finances, transfer fees, and so much more. And you have to make the tough decisions based on things like your vision for the club, the resources of the team, and also what the team needs to make sure you put yourself in the best possible position and give your manager the best chance to find success on the pitch. This mode would also give you the power to make decisions on your management team, and you'd have the power to sack them, look for new managers that are available in the market as you take the reins on Europeans' next biggest giants and try to turn them into the best team in the world. And something I would love to be added into the game that would fit perfectly with this is the ability to create links with new affiliate clubs as you try to dominate world football. The system would allow you to share resources, purchase services from the other teams, and maybe even look to take over the entire club in a buyout, similar to what City Football Group do, as they have around 10 teams around the world, including City, Girona, New York City FC, and Palermo. I just think this would be a really fresh new mode, and it would only have to be slightly adapted from Manager Career, and you could really have an exciting situation where you try to become a top owner, bring unbelievable success to your own club, or if you like, look to try and create a dynasty of world football across different countries where you dominate absolutely everywhere. Now, moving on to my next change, I would love to see a serious overhaul to the player rating system that we currently have. Now, currently we have a rating system that is so one-dimensional, it's unbelievable. You pick up a player at a certain rating, you just continue to play with them as time goes on, and they will improve. Performance has a small factor on how quickly they go up, and they can actually go down if they're 31 or over, or have an injury and they'll go straight back up as you start to play them again. And for me, that's just not how football works. I mean, have a look at so many careers. I'll take Mason Mount, for example. Played so well to get himself up to an 84 rated in FIFA. That was when he was at Chelsea. He had a bad season, moved on to Manchester United, and he's just got worse each year. He's not old, he is just struggling for form, and that should affect his rating. And what I'm proposing is a serious change where you bring in a form system with a 4 up and 4 down setting, which basically means if a player is playing really well, they could be boosted to a +4 on their overall, and the same goes for if they're playing poorly, you could see a decline, and you would need to draw that player out of that bad funk to get the best out of them. Now, the thing that would really excel this is the end of season calculation on their rating. So if a player played most of the season in the green, done really well and boosted themselves throughout the year, their rating would take a serious jump going into the next season, and it would really improve them as their career goes on. And then you'd be able to boost them even higher using form again in the next year, is you'd have a higher base overall, and you'd allow a +4 on top of that again. You can look at this in 2 other ways. If a player played half of the season really well and half of the season they really struggled, you'd probably level that about the same, and their rating wouldn't really change. But for those players that play so badly, let in so many goals, can't score a goal if they're playing as an attacker, they would see a potential -4 on their overall, and you'd have to work even harder to get them up to their potential, which would be a serious challenge. I actually think this would be a really positive change, where it would make things dynamic, change every career mode save from each other, and it would give you one more thing to think about, and see if you could try and pull players out of these bad pieces of form, keep an eye on which players are doing well and not over the course of the season, and it might also help you to decide which areas of your team you need improvement on when the next transfer window comes around. But on to the penultimate change of this video, and that is better stadium customization, or even more impressively, an actual stadium builder. Now, this would go well with the finances we talked about earlier, as it would be great that you actually have to work your budget to be able to fund this sort of upgrade for your club. And in my mind, that would be both for the stadium creator and the upgrades to the stadium in terms of the facilities. Now, the stadium customization a few years ago was a great addition. I love that you can alter it each season so you can create your own storyline in your head as you progress through your save. But I definitely believe we have to have the addition of costs involved when looking at stadium upgrades, as it'll add just another dynamic to the game and make the milestones even more rewarding. But I know this is a major ask when you can create everything from top to bottom and have an entire stadium builder. Hopefully that step comes within a few years. But even if that's not possible, we still need more out of the current stadium customization to make more personalized decisions that fit ourselves or the team that we're managing. This should mean more options when working on the generic stadiums like dugouts, scoreboards, tunnel entrances, floodlights, advertisement boards, and the biggest one for me, the environment where the stadium's built. I mean, imagine if you're taking over a party town and you want the beach as your background, or you're a Yorkshire team and want the hills to really replicate the Peak District. We should be able to change all of this when we start our save to make it feel as perfect as possible when we play. There is so much potential, EA. Please just try a little bit harder because it's a great thing you have here. But here we are at the final point of the video, and if you've enjoyed, please do drop a like. It helps massively to grow the channel. I'm pushing for 1,000 subscribers and it just gets the video out to more people, so definitely think about helping me out. But on to point 10, and it's something I've been begging for a ridiculous amount of time. Bring in a continuous stat system, player by player, team by team, that you can revisit whatever season you're in. So many people have the desire to look at deeper stats in career mode, and we should be able to look at players' record from every season they've played. You should be able to see how many goals they've scored, what teams they've played for in this time. Just in-depth stuff so each season actually feels like they matter, and your current year doesn't become irrelevant the moment you load up the next season and all that data is lost. There should also be individual player records like all-time top scorers in the league, like you can see in this example here, or even a list of individual season stats so you can try and overthrow the best, like most goals or assists in a year, making your player careers mean so much more as they become absolute elite players and Premier League legends. There should also be the same for team information like most goals in a season, most titles won, so you have more things to focus on beating, more things to work towards, and it just gives more reason to play the save. Even when the team is good, you have a reason to keep going and make the career mean something rather than the current trend of closing the save and starting a new one when you're looking for a new challenge. Ultimately, all these changes in the video are about giving more power to the player, adding more immersion to the game, and giving career mode users actual reasons to invest time into their saves, making them so much more enjoyable, no matter how long you spend on it. But today, that is it for the video. I really enjoyed making this one. There are so many more things that we could discuss, so if you want a part 2, let me know some of your changes, some things you'd like to see, and I'll put them all together and put them out there for EA to probably ignore. But thank you for watching. I want to say a massive thanks to the channel's first member. The support is absolutely massively appreciated and you're an absolute legend. But that is it for today. I hope you enjoyed. If you have, please subscribe as I'm working towards 1,000 subscribers and it would help me out massively on that journey. But thank you for watching. Until next time guys, I will see you in the next one. Have a lovely rest of the day. And peace out.